Hello, I'm Raynor. Welcome back to another episode of Raynor's Guitar Digest. Okay, today I'm going to share with you on 10 tips, okay, on arranging and playing fingerstyle. Okay, fingerstyle. Fingerstyle should be a familiar term to many guitarists, okay? So another name for it would be called chord melody, okay? Chord melody, which of course is combining both the chord accompaniment parts and the melody parts of a song into one solo part for one guitar, okay? So usually, right, fingerstyle can be played in a solo guitar instrumental piece by itself. Okay, that means just stand alone, the instrumental piece of the whole song. Okay, for the fingerstyle, or it can be used just in intros, interludes, outros, or certain small parts of for accompaniment of songs. Okay, which I usually will do lah to make the songs more complete and also more attention grabbing for your audience. Okay, so fingerstyle by itself, right, it is not easy to teach. Okay, so but you must first and foremost, right, have very basic music theory. Okay, be at least relative pitch. Okay, but that means your ear, you're listening, you must be at least relative pitch, and also you should have no problems playing basic accompaniment on guitar. Okay, so these are very basic requirements that is needed before you can even embark on fingerstyle journey. Okay, so here are my 10 useful tips, okay, on arranging and playing fingerstyle. Okay, so tip number one, find a key, okay, that is easier to play. Okay, find a key that's easier to play so that you will make your life much easier. Okay, especially if you use keys that are too complicated, especially on your fingering position, right, you are less familiar with, right, you will not be easy to play. Okay, so usually, right, guitarists would like to use C or G key, okay, which are the easiest in terms of the position of all your notes and chords lah. Of course, you can try other keys if you are up for more challenge lah. Okay, so that is also up to yourself lah. Okay, so if you find another key suitable and you are up for the challenge, you can go ahead with it. Okay, so that's for tip number one. Okay, tip number two. Okay, chart out the chords first. Okay, so either by chart out by ear, listening by ear, or find accurate ones online. Okay, so because the chords, right, they are the basic building blocks or foundation of your fingerstyle parts of the full song, or the full song lah, of course lah. So chords are the accompaniment parts. So without the chords, right, without the all this backbone as the chords or the background music behind it, you can't chart out the melody. Okay, so chords are very important. Okay, chart out the chords first. That's tip number two. Okay, tip number three. Use a simple and suitable plucking pattern for the fingerstyle parts lah. Okay, so use some simple plucking pattern, okay, for the fingerstyle parts. For example, you can use okay, for all the one chords in one bar, you can use things like, okay, use this kind of simple plucking pattern for the chords lah, for the accompaniment part of the fingerstyle first. Okay, so this is tip number three. Okay, so number four, listen to the fingerstyle part of the song you wish to arrange. Okay, play along with the chords you charted out and sing or hum out the melody lines. So as you sing them out, right, you will know which timing points in each chord or bar the melody notes will fall on or appear. Then slowly, right, replace this original accompaniment plucking pattern chord notes, right, with the melody notes. Of course, sometimes this is not so straightforward, but generally the idea is like that. So what I mean is, for example, we talk about Right Here Waiting. Right Here Waiting, if you hear the famous intro, da 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 da, for example. Okay, so if I play just the chords, right, it's actually da 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 da. Okay, so this is just now what I'm doing, right? So I'm playing the chord, just the chord part, accompaniment part of the intro of the famous intro for Right Here Waiting, but while I hum out the actual solo notes according to what is played in the original song lah. So as you hum out, right, you will notice where your melody notes that you hum out, right, appear on the timing of the accompaniment part. So as you do that, right, you will do replacement on your arrangement, on your tablature. You just replace those chord parts, right, chord melody parts, kick them away and replace with your melody notes that as they appear. This is the rough way to do it first. Lay the foundation first there. Yeah. So as you do the replacement, right, then you will kick all the chord parts lah, accompaniment parts, the notes with the melody notes. so as to form the solo. Okay, as I said, this is not as straightforward, but usually this is the general idea. Okay, so this is tip number 4. Okay, tip number 5, you will then realize that you do not need to press the full chord of what you charted at every single bar due to the added melody notes. That means once you added the melody notes to your accompaniment parts, to your chord parts, right, you will know that you do not need to press the original chord. So usually all the chords I write out is actually more like a guideline, because now you have to play the melody and the chord parts, right? So definitely you have to sacrifice some of the fingering lah. You cannot be pressing the full chord. Some of the notes you have to shift around. Your finger will definitely have movement. Okay, so this is you will realize lah that the chord you then no need to press the full chord. Okay, but usually it's the bass that you need to sustain, the most important. Okay, in fingerstyle, bass is the last point of defense in the sustain of the whole overall ambience lah. Okay, so as I said, so minimally you have to keep your sustain of the chord bases as you go along. You can sacrifice as much as you want, but sometimes you will still need a few notes here and there to make the harmony much fuller lah. Okay, sounds better also. Okay, so that's tip number 5. Tip number 6. Now play along and check for mistake in notes and timing. So once you finish arranging the melody and the chords parts ready, right, in the solo already, you play the MP3, play the YouTube, and you play along. Okay, play along, and then you check for mistake in your notes. Sometimes you hear notes, you may hear the harmony version of another note, but yeah, or sometimes you might have mistakes in your timing lah. Okay, where you position your notes. Okay, sometimes because we sometimes will make some assumption here and there, yeah, because of the experience that we have lah. Okay, so play along and check for mistakes in notes and timing. Okay, that's tip number 6. Okay, tip number 7. Okay, remember to emphasize or play melody notes, okay, louder than your chord accompaniment notes. Okay, so that means when you play, you know, for example, you know this part, okay, this first bar here, right here waiting, da 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 da, these are your melody notes. Anything that's not the melody notes, they are actually your accompaniment notes. So melody notes, emphasize them, make them louder. The chord notes, accompaniment, make them softer, so that when audience hear, they can hear the difference. Else, if you play everything the same volume, right, they will mix up. Which part is the melody? Where's the melody? Which part is the accompaniment? They can't hear. So make sure, for example, the accompaniment is the front part. This is the softer part. Then the rest are the melody part. Then this part you have to emphasize, so that make the solo notes stand out, so that audience can hear, while your chords is still ringing, accompaniment, bass, and accompaniment notes that are still ringing behind softly. So the whole solo thing will sound nice. Okay, so this is tip number 7. Okay, then tip number 8. Okay, assign your right plucking hand evenly so you can distribute, and so that you can play more efficiently and without the dilemma and confusion of which fingers to use. So when you play fingerstyle, it's just like you play any plucking pattern. Always have an assignment there. Okay, for example, your outer, inner assignment, as I mentioned in my previous video. So spread out your fingers. Okay, always see, check in that particular bar. Okay, which is the outermost note, which is the lowest most treble note. Then anything that's chord bass, right, you will use your thumb. Anything that's on the melody and other chord treble notes, right, you will use your other fingers to play. Okay, so spread them out evenly, and then always stick with it, like staying in lane when you are driving. Okay, it's like your index finger will always play which string, and middle finger always will play which string, so that there's a set of rules there. Then once you have a discipline of fingers there already, right, all your usually everything will fall in place nicely. Yeah, so that you won't always have dilemma. Sometimes you come, this note suddenly now I use middle finger. Then another time you play, you use index finger. Then whenever you play, right, you will always have this dilemma of which one to use. So you always have to fix this rule. Yeah. Okay. So like always stick in lane. Okay. Always have inner outer assignments. Okay. So that's tip number 8. Okay. Tip number 9. Okay. As I said just now already, sustain your chord notes and melody, whichever is needed according to the song arrangement. So sustain is very important here. So whatever that you need to sustain from one bar to the next, the melody notes, because when you sing it out, you will know wherever you go, whatever you do, the go is actually still sustaining. So some of the melody notes you don't release too early, else it will sound wherever you go, whatever you do, it will become like that. Okay, so Da 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 da. You can hear the note of this. Wherever you go, this note right is sustained until the next bar already, ma. So you have to hold the note. Else will sound. You see, the note suddenly gone right because you never hold that note. You never sustain that note. Same goes for your bass also. All your chord bass, you should always sustain until the chord really finished. Then you can change to the next bass. Else, you will always have bass being missing lah. See, you can't suddenly hear my bass missing because I leave it away. I leave it away. Why? Because maybe my fingers are lazy. I don't have to press continue the bass note. So this will make the fingerstyle not so nice to hear already lah. Okay. So that's for number 9. Sustain your chord notes and melody whichever is needed according to the song arrangement. Okay. So tip number 10, most important, number 10. Okay. Keep practicing until it gets perfect. Okay. Okay. You always have to work for it. Okay. There's no shortcut here. Okay. There are ways. All these are the tips to make your journey smooth, but you still need to practice. Okay, to make it perfect. Okay, so alright, that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new, and remember to subscribe, like, or comment if you have any question. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.